Hey student, English fluency. Follow these two study routine ideas. If you want to learn English fast, if you want to unlock your English, if you want to talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. If you don't know me very well, I'm Teacher Prix, and I'm going to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Make sure to subscribe to my channel because every week I come here with interesting lessons, vocabulary, listening, reading, so many tips to help you become a better and more confident English speaker. If you have done so, thank you so much. It is an honor for me to have you here. You know what to do next. I'm always asking for stuff. Anyway, my friends, let's get down to business. Study routine ideas if you want to be fluent. Always remember, I always tell my students this, fluency is communication, not perfection. So when you think of fluency, think of the ability of feeling confident about your English, communicating at work, when traveling, and that is nothing to do with perfection. I'm fluent and I make mistakes. I sometimes forget the words, prepositions. I sometimes confuse things, but the journey doesn't end. It only continues. And if you continue your journey, you will get better and better, okay? That's very important. But if you follow these ideas, my friend, you're gonna do great. Now, the people I typically help here are pre-intermediate students and intermediate speakers. This is usually what I call the transition level because you can understand some English, but at this moment, you're a little confused. You're like, I don't know how to keep going, how to combine the English skills. So what do I need to do? Well, welcome. This is the transition level, pre-intermediate, intermediate level, where students are typically very confused. It's natural, okay? Welcome aboard. Now, as I always tell my babies, my students, rub your hand. To learn a lesson, I must use it. So at the end of this lesson, I invite you to post a short explanation of what you understand from the ideas that I'm going to recommend. This practice is important. Start using what you study, okay? So here, guys, at this level, going fast or going slowly will depend on the kind of practice you follow. So you can go very fast or you can go very slowly. It all comes down to the method and the process you follow, the study routine you follow. So this is something you need to be very, very careful about. So here, if you combine the right kinds of practices, you will go from stuck to speaking over the next 6 months. That's what I usually help my students with, okay? But what not to do? Before I give you the first study tip, the first idea, what is something that no, don't do that, okay? And I want you to look at this now. I will read for you. Don't treat your English study routine as an Instagram feed. And what does that mean? You go to your Instagram, you see nice things. Oh, cool. Like, okay. You save some posts. You save some posts. But then, oh, I need to go back to work. You go back to work or you go to the next post. And that's your study routine. Maybe it's not Instagram and maybe it's YouTube. Oh, that's nice. Oh, this is a video. Okay, cool, nice. Oh, but now let me get back to life. This is bad. English fluency is a continuous work in progress. You need to accept that. Okay, and that is not bad news. That is actually something very good because you're always getting better if you understand this kind of mindset, okay? We always have room for improvement. And the earlier you accept that, the better for you. So your study routine is not your Instagram feed. Oh, teacher, but I saw some nice posts on Instagram. Okay, that's wonderful. But what do you do with them? Do you just hit like? Save, maybe share with a friend. Same thing here with my lesson. Same idea. Oh, I watched, then I went to work. I started having my day, I went about my day. I went about my day and that's it. Don't treat your English journey, your study routine that way. Otherwise, you're not going to get better. And this is what breaks my heart. People come, they see, and they go, and they don't take action. So the request I made, post a summary in the comments. I'm making you change that. I'm making you change the game and start being more active with your practice, okay? Now, that being said, your next thing you're going to do, the first thing you're going to do with your study routine is have weekly goals. And before you go, let me explain. I will give you examples, okay? Have weekly goals. In these goals, you should focus on what you will be working on what you want to talk about, and on what kinds of situations you want to be better at. Be smart with your planning, especially if you're alone, especially if you don't have a teacher like me, a program, my academy, if you don't have anything, if it's just you. You need to be smart. So you need to have clear weekly goals. Oh, but teacher, what if I need more time? 10 days. Every 10 days you need a new goal. Every 7 days or every 10 days. It depends on how much time you need. For example, for me, Priscilla, when I'm studying, I spend about 10 days, sometimes 14, on the same goal. Okay? On the same. I will explain the goal that I am talking about. So sometimes I spend 7 days, but mostly for me, Priscilla, I spend about 2 weeks on the same goal. So you need to be very clear about the goals you have. So here weekly goals, if you're finishing in 7 days, if you need a few more days to do the practices that I typically recommend, 10 days, 12 days, same thing, okay? So that is very important. So here is one example. Let's say you decide to, here on my channel, I think yesterday, I posted, well, if you're watching today, because maybe it's 2025 and you're watching this video. Hey, tell me, is it 25 now? Maybe not. Right now it's 23. Let's say you are, you watched a video I made about how to say hot. It's so hot in English, different ways to say hot. So I made a video about that, okay? But that's it. Now, let's imagine this week your goal is to talk about the weather or global warming. So you want to be better at describing global warming events, sharing your opinion, asking questions about the weather, talking about global warming and the effects on society, how it affects our lives, how we should save the planet and try our best to take care of the global warming, and not the global warming, but the weather, you know, what we can do to help. That's your subject of the week. So this lesson I posted about saying hot, this could be in your routine. You could include because it's connected with your weekly goal. I want to talk about the weather. I want to talk about global warming and the effects in our lives and society and how we can save the world, how we can protect. So you can include this. Oh, but this is very basic, the lesson that I gave. I want something more. So maybe you can study vocabulary to talk about the weather. Because if you decide, let's suppose, to talk about global warming, you will need to know a lot of words connected with the weather. That's why you can't talk about global warming when you don't study anything about the weather. So this is why you need to have a weekly goal or a 10-day goal, okay? Short-term goals. So for me to talk about the weather, maybe I will need to learn some specific verbs, some adjectives to describe the weather. And this should be in your weekly goal, in your study routine. That's how you're going to be successful and be able to talk about that. So you see the connection I am making. And throughout the days, you will need to organize yourself. And I have here on my channel ideas where I explain how you can do that. Here I'm just focusing on the most important study routine activities you need to do so that you can go from stuck to speaking over the next 6 months, understanding people, talking to people, improving vocabulary. And guys, this is basically what I do with my students. You know, in my program, the Academy, we have 24 modules. Every week, a new module becomes available. There are 24. And all the 24 modules, they have a goal. We focus on a subject. And based on that, I bring all the English skills, listening, reading, vocabulary, writing, speaking, so that they can immerse in the subject and be efficient with their practice. But not just that, we also have live workshops every month. We have extra activities because I like to bring more to my students. But they have the plan. They have the study routine completely organized and all the activities they need. So this is something that I already do with my students. I do it with myself. This is how I have always organized my study routine. I don't treat it as a Facebook feed or an Instagram feed. No, my fluency is important to me. And I imagine your fluency is important to you. That's why you're watching this lesson. So you need to take that into consideration. Take that seriously, okay? Now, guys, as usual, typically how you help my channel grow, so I appreciate it. If you're interested, I have a study plan cycle. It's not my academy. It's a study plan that I created to help students organize themselves, and also a listening mastery workshop that will show you how to master your listening, activities you need to include so that you can understand people anywhere, anytime. You can get the info in the description of this video. But let's go. Tip number 2. Study routine idea 2. Listening and speaking should always be present in your study routine. So in your weekly goals, every time you define the subject, you should always find a material, find a lesson, find a video, a podcast or something to listen about the subject. So you found global warming, you want to study about global warming, you have to listen about global warming. A 5-minute video, 5-minute podcast, maybe an article, read an article. Study vocabulary about weather and temperature and global warming related words. And here, speaking, you want to talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime over the next 6 months. Be free and confident. Speaking is a skill I must practice. Repeat this after me. Speaking is a skill I must practice. That's how you're going to be better at speaking. So in this second study routine idea, you will always include listening and speaking connected with your weekly goal, the subject you chose for the week. And then you're going to grab your phone at the end of the exercise and you're going to practice speaking about the subject you studied for 7 days, for 9 days, for 10 days. That's preparation. People who are prepared can go anywhere, anytime. People who don't prepare cannot go anywhere, anytime. So are you preparing yourself for conversations, for opportunities? And remember, fluency is communication, not perfection, okay? But let me give you an example. Going back to the warming example, global warming thing. So let's say that you watched 1 or 2 videos about it, okay? And as I give recommendations in other lessons, in these 2 videos or 1 or 2 videos you watched, you explored vocabulary, you included writing to describe what you understood, okay? Maybe you learned, you used an English video just to learn vocabulary about the weather, about connected with global warming words. So nice, you're doing a good job. Now, to finish this week of goals, to finish this goal, to accomplish this goal, to hit the target, now you need to speak about global warming, okay? And here what you can do, you can describe the video you watched, not read. Speaking is different from reading. You're going to speak about the video you watched and then talk about whether you agree or disagree with the information. Do I agree with this video? Well, yes. Why? What am I doing to save the world? To help the world? I don't think we can save the world. Honestly, no. I think we can help, but we can't save, okay? We can barely save ourselves, but we can help. That's what I believe, okay? What do you think? What do you believe? I think we can only help. We can't save anyone or anything, okay? So here, your next step is to think of questions. And if you cannot think of questions about global warming, Google them. English questions about global warming. Global warming English questions for conversation. You will find a lot of results, a lot of ideas of questions you can answer, okay? And again, guys, this is something I do with my students. This is something I do to myself all the time, every week when I'm studying. I always talk about what I am working on. So with my students, at the end of all the 24 modules, every module has a subject. So when we finish the module, they have recommendations of questions. I already prepared the questions for them. And this is their solo practice. I don't correct this. That's not the focus. Guys, the focus is not to be corrected with this practice. The focus is to save here in your brain that speaking is a skill. And to feel more confident, you constantly need to remind your brain to speak. So to do that, you need to practice. So every week, I invite my BSA to practice their English speaking alone. But not just that, we have a Facebook group in which we have extra activities. And all the extra activities I give my babies combine one skill, one different skill, listening, reading, vocabulary, grammar, plus speaking. So that they can have something extra to do to complement their experience. And then they post their answers. They get to listen to their friends' answers. But the goal is a solo practice, is to really show the brain that, hey, I'm the boss. I'm going to use what I study. I'm going to use what I am learning. And I'm going to speak about what I read, what I saw, what I'm learning, what I'm living. And that's what's going to happen to you. You're going to unlock your English fluency if you're serious about your journey, if you're serious about your routine, okay? These are by far the best recommendations that I could possibly give, okay? Now, if you want to support my channel, make sure to share this lesson with your friends. I really appreciate it. As I told you before, I have my study plan, my listening mastery workshop, and in case you're interested in becoming my BSA, I will open registration. I don't know when you're watching this video, but I'm opening registration on January 22nd, 2023. Other than that, my friends, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah! Bye-bye!